my name is Karlas Tip, and I've been teaching special education for 3 years now. Does not make me an expert, but I'm here to give you some tips that I thought were very helpful for me and might be as helpful for you. So we're going to do 5 top tips. So here we go. Tip number 1, visuals. Make sure you use lots and lots of visuals. Examples where you can use visuals is as soon as you walk in, you can show them a video to motivate them or give them a sneak peek of the lesson you're about to do. You can also use visuals when you're doing your vocab word. As soon as you put your vocab word up or write it on the board, make sure to draw a picture next to it or project a picture onto the board of what the vocab word looks like. Have students not only write their definition and the vocab word on their journals, but also draw a picture of it next to them. Now, I know science can present it hard for when sometimes you can't draw your vocab word. So in these instances, you just have to get creative. For instance, forces is one where it's very difficult for students to draw a photo of or visualize. So what I usually do is I tell my students to stand up right behind their chairs and to jump up without falling down. Go ahead and I tell them, oh, what do you think is the force that is allowing you not to fall back down? And this is where I tell students, what do you think is the force that's pulling you down? And then here's when students are like, oh, this is gravity. So they connected the force with an activity or an action that they did. And then they can just draw themselves jumping up and down on their science journal, and this can remind them of what the word means. This usually works very well, and the word actually sticks better throughout the lesson, especially also in the conclusion of the lesson. When you review the vocab words, they do very well. Another word that's very difficult to see is current. For this one, what I do with the students is I usually use an energy stick, and I have them hold it on both ends, and they can visualize the light moving through the energy stick, so the current. And this usually serves very well. So remember, visuals are very important. So tip number 2, it's give your students 2 tasks. Always give your students an easy task and a more difficult one. So you can write the 2 tasks on the board so students won't continue asking what they are. And everyone is going to start with task 1. Here is where if you have a class mixed with higher level and lower level learning students, it can easily serve you for neither party to get bored. So what I mean is all students will complete the first task, and the first task is going to be an easy one. So the higher level students are going to complete it a lot faster than your lower level, but then they're going to move on to your second task, which is the more challenging one. And while they're preoccupied doing their second task, all of the other students will be finishing first task. This way, no one will get bored and everyone's going to have something to do throughout the activity. Okay? Tip number 3 is incentives. Incentives are very important and very encouraging and motivating for your students. So you can either use verbal incentives where you're like, good job, Michael, or keep it up, Sam, or you can use sticker incentives. Both work equally as well, except students get a little more excited about stickers, to be honest. So as soon as students are done with their task, you will give them a sticker. And when you reward the student with a sticker, everyone around the student is going to be super excited to get their own, that they're going to all finish the task just as quickly. Now, you can do the same thing with verbal incentives. While they're midway throughout the assignment, you can go around and incentivize the students that are working hard on the assignment. For instance, you can be like, Sam, I see you're putting great work into this. Keep it up. Okay, tip number 4. So make sure you switch up the classroom environment. Some of the lessons can be taken outside, and it's always a nice incentive for the students to switch up from being in the class all day. and this will get them extra motivated about lessons for science. Some of the lessons I've done outside previously have been carnations, which work very well because you can also just keep your plants outside. Other lessons like pop rockets are very good to do outside. Lessons that require a lot more space, I would suggest you do them outside. This is why one of the top lessons is egg drops, because you get to leave the classroom and go outside for a little bit to drop your egg. So why not mimic the same thing with other lessons? So, and here we go to number 5. So, students want to be able to do work that is not only legible, but presentable. So all of the work they're doing in their science journals, sometimes the teacher doesn't distribute the science journals before I come in to teach and go over it with them. However, what you can do is you can ask your teacher if they can display some of the pages of the science journal from that experiment up across the wall on the board, and this way they all feel special and they all want to make more presentable work because it'll be displayed on the wall for everyone to see. So these are your top 5 tips, and if you have any questions, you can always just email me. And okay, so we're done with 5 tips, and here's a quick review about them. Number 1, visuals. Always make sure to use lots and lots of visuals before, during, and even after the lesson. Number 2 tasks. Always gives your students 2 tasks, an easier one and a more challenging one. Number 3, incentives. Either stickers or these can be verbal incentives. You did a good job, Sam, or keep up the good work. Number 4, change up the classroom scenery. This will get your students more excited about the lessons. And 5, last but not least, make sure your students display their work and make presentable work in order to remind them of the lesson throughout the week before you come in and teach again next week. Okay, thank you.